Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. We have WWE Extreme Rules this coming Sunday night. NoDQ.com, of course, has you covered with the latest. I will be doing live coverage on Sunday. You can leave feedback at the bottom of the page. Your comments, your questions, I will try to respond to as many of you as possible. But for now, got your questions today as we head into Extreme Rules. You can submit questions for future videos using the hashtag RoadToNoDQ1000, or if you're a first-time asker, use hashtag PAIV1. Let's get started today with the first one, which comes from Durka, using the Matt Hardy "They see me rolling, they hating." Do you think that Stephanie McMahon will be involved in this Kurt Angle scandal storyline, with her being behind the whole thing? I really hope not. Like I said before, I'm tired of Triple H and Stephanie being on television all the time. I could see WWE doing this. It seems like an obvious way to bring back Stephanie, and they always have to have a McMahon after all, the way WWE looks at it, because McMahon's equal ratings, and with ratings being down, their easy fix is to bring back a McMahon to television. So I would not be surprised at all to see it happen, but I'm hoping it's something else. I'm hoping that this will lead to perhaps Kurt Angle getting back in the ring. I guess if Stephanie comes back and it leads to Kurt Angle wrestling, maybe I'm okay with Stephanie coming back, as long as the end result is Angle wrestling again. I'm really curious as to what this scandal is all about. What is this thing that could potentially ruin Angle? Is it something like Claire Lynch in TNA, where there's some sort of affair going on? Or maybe Kurt Angle actually won a silver medal in the Olympics? I'm not sure what WWE has planned with this, but I'll go along with it as long as in the end we get to see Kurt Angle wrestle again. And I would hope that that's what this whole thing is about, that Kurt Angle got the clearance and WWE's doing this angle to start the ball rolling for Kurt Angle eventually getting back in the ring. We'll have to wait and see, though. With WWE, I have no idea what to think. If this is a good thing, if it's a bad thing. Could just be Stephanie coming back and it's just going to be business as usual and Kurt Angle might not wrestle. In which case, it'll probably suck. This one comes from Calvin. What do you think of Maurice getting Dean Ambrose DQ'd by hitting The Miz instantly, but Kurt Angle restarts the match as an Extreme Rules match? I like this idea. I think I might have brought it up myself. Maybe I should just take credit for that. I don't know. But I think that it's a good idea. I'm not really a big fan of the DQ stipulation in the first place. I could see something like that happening, and perhaps to further this Kurt Angle storyline, you could have Angle come out and restart the match right away and say that Maurice's antics are not going to fly, and that further leads to whatever is going on with Kurt Angle being blackmailed, and somebody can come in and be upset about Angle's decision. Miz can talk to whoever is behind it. There is a way that could tie into this scandal storyline with Kurt Angle. So I'm definitely a fan. I like that idea. And actually them having a no-holds-barred match, having Ambrose win, and end this stupid feud once and for all between The Miz and Dean Ambrose and let them move on to other things. So I'm a fan of it just for the idea of them being able to do an actual Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules pay-per-view and finish the storyline. Because doing this DQ stipulation, it makes me feel like it's going to end in some sort of controversy, and then they're going to have another match. The feud will continue, and it will never end. So I like the idea of doing this. That way we can have a conclusion, a decisive end to this Dean Ambrose storyline with The Miz. This one comes from Michael. What did you think about the Alexa Bliss and Bayley This Is Your Life segment? I think it was horrible. I thought it was pretty bad. I did not think it was the worst segment of all time. I've definitely seen worse. But with that being said, I thought it was poorly acted, it was too long, and most importantly, it did absolutely nothing to make me want to see Alexa Bliss versus Bayley at Extreme Rules. So as far as getting me hyped up for the match, the segment was a complete failure and a waste of time. It was WWE trying to be cute, trying to recreate The Rock's This Is Your Life segment, but The Rock back then, I've said this before about The Rock, he's one of the few guys that could take bad material and make it work. Quite frankly, I think if anybody else was in The Rock's spot in 1999, that segment would have been terrible, but The Rock made it work because he's so damn charismatic, and I'll give Mick Foley credit too, he held his own in that segment. But anybody else, that segment would have been terrible also. This one, as great as Alexa Bliss is, she could not save it. And that's just the bottom line. There's really very few people on planet Earth that could take lousy material like that and make it gold. So it's just something that's not feasible. This one comes from They See Me Rollins. They Hayden. So we had a Matt Hardy one, and now we have a Seth Rollins one. Hey Aaron, which one was worse? Alexa's This Is Your Life or The Old Day? I would have to go with The Old Day one because, to me, what's worse than bad drama is bad comedy. I'll take bad drama over bad comedy any day of the week. Friday the 13th. Well, that's a horror movie, but it's also drama. It's dramatic, and many people would consider those movies to be bad, but in a campy, fun way. But with comedy, bad comedy, it's just hard to find any redeeming qualities in bad comedy, in my opinion. Bad comedy just doesn't work at all unless it's like Plan 9 from Outer Space bad comedy. And the Old Day segment was just so terrible, so unfunny. It was really hard to watch, and not in a good way. It wasn't like Plan 9 from Outer Space where you can watch it because it's so cheesy and low rent. It was just an unfunny segment. I would say that this segment with Alexa and Bayley, people might forget about it. I mean, who knows? If this ruins Bayley's character, then it might go down as a worst segment in history. I should do a poll about it, see what you guys think, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think, either on NoDQ.com or the YouTube page, which segment you thought was worse. This one comes from Penelo14. I've seen a lot of people on social media angry that WWE basically killed Bayley's character on the main roster. Your thoughts? I can understand people being upset about it. Now, this segment on Raw, I would not say was the main cause of her character being killed off. I think her character has been damaged for several months now. I think WWE really dropped the ball with her character, and it's been several months in the making. I think that WWE put too much thought into this. I think it was a simple concept with her. She's an underdog character. She's like a fan, and you do not make it so overdone to the point where she's unlikable and you start feeling that she's too uncool. She has to have a little bit of an edge, as Greg Cherry said when we did our predictions video. She needs a little bit more of an edge, and she should have been more of an underdog from the beginning, and WWE should have slowly built her up towards the women's title. They dropped the ball by having her win the title at Fastlane. She should have won it at WrestleMania if they were going to do that, and they should have done this Bayley-Sasha storyline. Sasha should definitely be heel. She's in a position right now where she's missing out on character potential and things that she could be doing. I think that Bayley and Sasha, that should have been the main feud, with Bayley winning the title and then Sasha getting jealous and turning on her. And then you have maybe Sasha winning the title from Bayley, and then that feud continues through the summer. I think that that would have been a lot more compelling than what WWE's doing right now. So yeah, I can understand the fans being upset, and my fear is that the character will be damaged beyond repair. I still think there's time to save her, but if things keep going the way they're going, it might only be a matter of time before people are booing Bayley. And, you know, that's something. If WWE can get fans to turn on her like that, especially when she had so many supporters in NXT, I mean, that's quite the accomplishment. This one comes from Larby. Should Bayley turn heel at Extreme Rules and prove everyone wrong? She must change her character. That would be a huge risk, I think. To turn her heel would really be... It would be a great risk, I think, because if you turn Bayley heel and it doesn't work, I'm not sure that her character could be salvaged as a babyface, and she might not be able to have the kind of impact that she had before. She might never be able to get back to that point. I'm not sure how a heel Bayley would really work. I don't know if she would be able to be convincing enough as a heel. I just don't sense it in her, you know. I get the Ricky Steamboat vibe from her, where she's just a likable character. Maybe in this new era of WWE, maybe if they just make her like Roman Reigns and just shove her down everybody's throats and make her happy-go-lucky 24/7 and just do all this stuff to purposely annoy people, maybe they can make her the female Roman Reigns and make her a heel even though her character is this babyface character. You know, do the same thing with Rocky Maivia, just shove her down everyone's throats, but maybe it'll get to the point where people make noise for her and WWE will not care. They'll say, hey, she's getting a reaction. Maybe they'll do that with her. Maybe that will be the eventual plan for Bayley. I really don't know. I mean, right now it's hard to say. You know, it doesn't seem like people have really turned on Bayley yet, but it does seem like they have gotten quiet, and that's not a good thing. If the fans are not making a lot of noise, that's a problem. So we'll see what WWE does, but I think actually doing a full-fledged heel turn on her would be a very risky proposition by WWE, and I'm not sure they're going to go there with her. I mean, that could potentially kill her career if it did not work out. This one comes from Mike. What did you think of the Sasha Banks and Rich Swan match and dance on Raw? Sasha did a great job of making Rich look great. I would say she did a good job out there dancing with him at the end, but to me, that's not what Sasha should be doing at this stage of the game. Going back to earlier, I think she needs to be a heel, and I think that this role she's in is not doing herself any favors. It's a downgrade for her to be in this 205 Live feud with the cruiserweights, and it just feels like WWE has no idea what to do with her, when I think it's obvious she should be feuding with Bayley. This is something that was being set up for months, and now it just seems like there's no direction for that, and it's more or less dropped. And if they do go back to it, it's not going to have as much momentum because WWE let it go for a while and had the two of them go in different directions. So it'll lose the impact that it would have had if you did the big turn like at WrestleMania or shortly after WrestleMania. I think it would have been great to have Bayley win the title at WrestleMania and then the night after on Raw, with all the hardcore fans there, have Sasha turn heel on Bayley, although they would probably cheer in that case and do the yes chants and all that, just knowing how those fans are. But that might have been a good time to do it. I think the timing would have been right there. Sasha would have been jealous that Bayley did what Sasha could not do, and that's beat Charlotte on a pay-per-view. And Charlotte's streak would have ended at WrestleMania. This one comes from Garrison. When will WWE realize that their commentary team sucks? Their heavily scripted and passionless comments sometimes kill a good Raw. You might think the commentary team sucks, but WWE loves them. WWE and Vince McMahon in particular love having people that they can manipulate and have guys that will do whatever they want. Vince loves a guy that will say what he is told to say and will be that mouthpiece for Vince. Vince can give him notes and the guy will go out there and he will say whatever Vince wants him to say and do a damn good job of it. Michael Cole will go out there and do what he's told, and I've said this before, Michael Cole does a very good job at what he's told to do. He's a good company man, But I do agree. I think that the commentary teams really lack passion, and because of the fact that they're so scripted, they do come off like robots, and they lack the emotion and the passion. And it felt like even Ronaldo, after a while, was starting to become that way. He was starting to lose his passion a little bit and was sounding more and more like a typical WWE announcer with each passing day. But that's what happens when WWE and Vince want to control everything. That's what you get. I'm not saying Michael Cole's a bad announcer. I think he's good at his job, and even Corey Graves I think is a good announcer. But again, he's being fed lines, and maybe even Byron Saxton would be better if he wasn't told what to do as much. But then again, maybe he would just get lost without the instructions. You know, he would lack the ability to go out there and improvise and just call on the fly and go with his gut. Who knows if he would be able to do that? He hasn't really been put to the test. So it's hard to say. This one comes from Joshua. Why do you think the WWE continues to bury Vince Russo on shows on the network like Table for Three or The Legends show? That is because it is politically correct for WWE to bury Vince Russo. Vince Russo is not with the company. He's not on good terms with anybody, so WWE can do that, and there's not going to be any sort of backlash for that because there's nobody in the company who's close with Vince Russo. You know, you have to blame somebody for WCW failing. You blame the guy who's not in the company, who's not friends with people in the company. Vince Russo's an easy target. Now, of course, there's perhaps a lot of good reasoning for Vince Russo being the blame for WCW's demise or being a major factor in WCW's demise. But still, I think also politics play a role. You look back to The Ultimate Warrior. They did that self-destruction of The Ultimate Warrior DVD, and then all of a sudden, Warrior comes back to WWE, and he's portrayed as one of the all-time greats in WWE, and all is forgotten, and they changed their tune on the Warrior. And my gut feeling is if Vince Russo ever got on good terms with WWE again, all of a sudden people would say, well, Russo was misunderstood and there were a lot of people responsible for WCW's demise. It wasn't just Russo, and they would do all these things to defend him. But because he's not on good terms with the company, again, he's an easy target. Got this one here from my good buddy Daniel Jobber. Isn't it nice to see them booking Elias Sampson properly on Raw, Aaron? What I would like you to do, Mr. Jobber, is to ask me that question again in 6 months, because WWE is known for getting things off to a good start. WWE is good at starting off a storyline strong, and WWE is good at booking a character strong in the beginning. But it's the longevity that is the issue. WWE tends to screw up things after a while. And to me, it's only a matter of time before WWE gives up on Elias Sampson. Vince will most likely eventually get tired of his toy and he'll move on to the next project. And Elias Sampson will just be shoved aside for the next guy that's coming in. So yeah, it's easy to say he's being booked properly right now. It's only been a couple of weeks. So it would really take a lot of incompetence to screw this guy up a couple of weeks into his run. You know, they're doing the thing where he's winning the squash matches, and that's fine. That'll work for a while, but eventually he's got to move to the next level, and the company's got to start putting him in regular storylines. And at that point, will they be able to keep the momentum going with him if he's going to be a big star in WWE? That remains to be seen. So again, ask me in 6 months. This one comes from Notorious Kanye, and he finally changed his username, Kings Never Die 94. If Brock Lesnar doesn't renew his contract in 2008, do you still see a babyface Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar maybe at the Royal Rumble? I think that whether Lesnar signs his contract or not, it's probably going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Either way, I'm hoping WWE does have Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe, but as I've said before, I would like to see Samoa Joe beat Brock Lesnar and send Lesnar packing. I think that Joe is one of the few guys that has enough credibility to beat Brock Lesnar, and if they build him up over several months, that can make him even more of a force and more of a threat. But I would hate to see Samoa Joe just be another fall guy for Lesnar leading up to Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. So if the end result for Lesnar is against Roman Reigns, then no, I do not want to see Lesnar versus Joe. I only want to see that match if Joe's getting the win and he's going to get the big rub off of beating Brock Lesnar. Got this one here from Nicholas, first time asker. And he asked me about a feud between Finn Balor and Kane, where at WrestleMania 4, this is him asking me this idea, Kane retires by handing him his final loss. I think that's what he's saying, it cut off. You got to put your whole question into one tweet, by the way, for future reference. But you're asking me about Kane having a retirement match with Finn Balor at WrestleMania and putting over Balor. I like the idea, especially since it's unlikely now that we're going to see Undertaker versus Finn Balor, which is a match a lot of people have suggested, maybe as a way for Undertaker to go out and put over the new Phenom Finn Balor. I like the idea, the Demon King versus the Demon Kane for WrestleMania 34. Kane gets one last run, he puts over the younger guy on his way out. I'm definitely a fan of that. I think WWE should do that match. I think that that's the next best thing. If you can't do Undertaker versus Balor, why not do Kane versus Balor as Kane's send-off and give give Kane one last big match in WWE, and he can put over somebody on the way out, and maybe Finn Balor can take full control as the new demon of WWE. I'm definitely a fan of that idea. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and share it. Facebook, Twitter, tell a friend, Reddit, any site you go on, any site that has a wrestling community, let them know about NoDQ Video. Word of mouth can really go a long way, and I definitely appreciate all the support from you guys. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com this weekend for WWE Extreme Rules coverage. And on that note, I will see you next time.